Hey guys, Jack O'Hara here. I kind of want to give you a glimpse into my life as a podcaster so that you guys kind of know what you're getting into, though everybody's story is a little bit different. My story consists of wanting this really badly since I was about 5 years old. I grew up in a small town, Long Valley, New Jersey, right outside New York City, and I was watching New York Yankee games as a kid, and I thought to myself, they get paid to call New York Yankees baseball? I want to get paid to call New York Yankees baseball. I just want to get paid to talk about my opinions in general. So since the age of 5 years old, I wanted to become a sports broadcaster, which parlayed into podcasting when I was a teenager. At 16 years old, I started my podcast, The O Show, which has been going on for nearly a decade now. Almost 10 years to the day, I've been in podcasting. I always wanted to be a talk show host. I watched Jimmy Fallon. I watched Jimmy Kimmel. I watched Conan O'Brien, who in my opinion is the best talk show host that there is. And I thought to myself, I want to interview my heroes. I grew up idolizing Michael Kay, the voice of the New York Yankees. I grew up idolizing WWE wrestlers like Chris Jericho and John Cena and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I grew up idolizing rock stars like Dave Grohl and Slash. And I thought to myself, I want to interview these people and kind of see what makes their brain tick, because the more knowledge and the more information that you can process, the more that you're able to develop into the next phase of life that you're going into. Because everybody grows, regardless if you want to or not. People evolve as human beings. And I really, really, really wanted to learn those next steps on how to become as successful as all of my heroes. So when I started my podcast in 2016, I was a senior in high school. I had my brother's equipment. My brother is a musician, lives in Nashville, Tennessee. All I had was his microphones, his wires, his equipment to start a podcast. Had no idea what I was doing. I clicked the light, the red went on air, and I thought to myself, I don't even know what I want to talk about. I was that ill-informed. I had no knowledge on how to even be a podcast host. I just know I wanted to interview people. And in the 10 years that I've gone from starting and not knowing what I wanted to talk about, I've been able to interview hundreds, if not thousands, over 1,500 episodes of guests, whether they are in the sports industry, whether they're in the music industry, whether they're in Hollywood, film, celebrities, real estate agents, real estate investors, people in insurance, people who own tech companies. I've tried to learn it all because as a kid who's currently 25 years old, started it when I was 16, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to throw myself at the wall hoping to stick somewhere in some industry. Though I know my one biggest passion in life has been able to have these conversations with people, meet people, learn what they're about, what makes them tick, and what's made them so successful, and how they've been able to surround themselves with the right people and the right mentors, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And I've been able to meet people who have invited me to such star-studded red carpet events, big dinners with big real estate agents. I've been in rooms where I don't necessarily think I deserve to be in them. To this day, I really had no idea why I was involved in some of these rooms with some of these high-end, very lucrative and rich people. I just wanted to learn. I just want to ask questions. I just want to be myself at the end of the day, and it's gotten me very far when it comes to my relationship capital. Those are all the very exciting things that this industry can bring you as a podcast host. Podcasting is the perfect networking tool to provide value for someone that you want to invest your time with, someone that you want to meet, someone you want to connect with and learn from. A lot of people back in the day would, ask you, hey, I'd love to meet you. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? In my opinion, that really doesn't work anymore these days. Having something of value to bring to someone free of charge, like this, having a podcast studio that you can use and show people that you're the real deal, people would want to invest in that person and get to know them. That's how you build relationships in 2024 and beyond, and that's what's worked for me. Now, not to say in 10 years, it's been all sunshine and rainbows. It hasn't. It really hasn't. Trying to not only be creative and talk to my heroes and get in these rooms and having timing work out, because it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, but it's also 100% about timing. If timing's not on your side, it's not going to work out. Usually things happen, some things don't happen. It's all a part of the journey. You're going to end up where you're meant to be at the end of the day. But having that ability to talk to people and get into those rooms is what's going to get you to that next phase. Whether you want to be a podcaster or whether you want to leverage your podcast for your business, whether you're in tech, whether you're in real estate, whether you're a sports fanatic, you're a broadcaster like myself. That's why I got into this. But there's moments in this where you're going to have self-doubt. It's just inevitable. That's the whole part of the human experience. You're going to have self-doubt. You're going to have those self-sabotaging moments of thinking, why do I belong here? I shouldn't be doing this. I'm not a very good host. You're going to suck at anything once you start doing it, right? Like nothing comes easy at first. Starting a new job, you're not going to be very good, but day by day, brick by brick, you learn something new every day about what you're doing by going through the experience. Someone could tell you A through Z, like we're telling you, to do something, but you really have to you got to get your hands dirty and learn for yourself what's going to work, what doesn't work. That's how you get better, and you got to be aware of what you're doing. I've had experiences in this business where I get invited to events and I'm almost exposed to a degree of like, yeah, I shouldn't have been in this room, but I'm learning. You have to feel those stinging moments as a human being in anything that you're doing to get to that next level, especially in podcasting with everything that comes with this business. From a financial and business side of things, I've learned a whole lot. I started doing this from a love and passion standpoint, so I was obsessed with the creative outline of this, drawing up outlines for marketing, advertising, the way a podcast should look on camera, cutting to camera 1, cutting to camera 3, cut to the wide shot. I was obsessed with the whole design and creative aspect of it. And it wasn't until I was actually offered my first sponsorship check to where I was like, oh, this is a business. I can make money doing this podcast that I love so much. And that was the first time I realized, and it kind of came at a point in my life where I needed to pay bills. I was fresh out of college. Okay, I need to learn how to do this stuff versus I should learn about this stuff because it would benefit me. I need to learn it because it needs to benefit me now if I want to keep doing this. Leveraging relationships and talking to business owners that would want to invest in a person like me. I think personally my strong suit in this business has been able to ask curious questions and ask a ton of them to the point where people are annoyed with me. And I love every second of it because people know that you're interested and you want to learn more. People who have succeeded in the past want to mentor people who have that hunger, have that drive, have that ability to be curious enough to ask a ton of questions so that they don't make the same mistakes that the protege, the mentee made in the past. There's a lot of people who have written books about the mistakes that they've made to ensure that the people reading those books don't make the same mistakes. They're giving you somewhat of a shortcut to where you need to be as long as you're willing to put in the work and as long as you're willing to absorb that information like a sponge. I have been in positions throughout this 10-year journey where I say to myself, I am so glad I got into this industry. This was the industry that God put me in. This was the industry that I was meant to be in because all of these great things are happening. I'm interviewing the likes of Magic Johnson, the likes of Bob Saget, the likes of Cheech Chong, Drake and Josh, Rob Schneider, David Spade, you name it. People I grew up watching on TV that I wanted to interview my whole life. That's why I got into this. Getting that validation has been awesome. From a business side, if you are a business owner and you're getting into podcasting, you know the ebbs and flows, you know the par for the course of what business is. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. It's a roller coaster, man. It really is. I was fortunate enough to get my first sponsorship check right out of college, which forced me to learn about the business side. It paid my bills. It got me by. But then that sponsorship left, and then I was left with no income. I'm like, oh my God, I really have to learn how to negotiate deals. I need to learn how to sell. I need to learn how to cold email, cold call, put myself out there. This is what I'm about. This is my experience thus far. This is what my plan is and my vision is for the next year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. Would love to talk, and I've been fortunate enough to have so many great mentors and friendships and allies in this business just from having a podcast and inviting them on my podcast to talk that have allowed me to continue doing this for 10 years, building relationships that have led to sponsorship agreements like TickPick.com based in New York City, kind of like a ticket marketplace like Ticketmaster or StubHub, a secondary market of tickets. They've provided me with free tickets in the past to games like the World Series and other big postseason playoff baseball games. I've been invited to, like I said, big networking events from some sponsors in return for me to I'm staying silent so you can cut this part out, but In return for free ad space, I've had sponsorships where it's just straight up affiliate marketing, me connecting them with potential buyers, and then you get a commission check if they're able to close a deal. I've had relationships in the solar space, relationships in the tech space as well, that I've been able to cultivate some of these deals on. You really have to not necessarily reinvent the wheel, but be very aware of how you can make certain deals, because there's not one way to make money in podcasting. It's not just saying ad space. Oh, this episode is presented by X amount of businesses. This podcast is presented by Spotify, and Spotify pays you for the shout out. There's a lot more that goes into this. Affiliate marketing, there's event marketing, influencer marketing on social media, partnering with an influencer that has a big audience that you can put your product out there and put your podcast out there as well, so that their millions of viewers can see it, so that your eventual millions of viewers can see it. There's just a plethora of ways to make money in this space, and you'll learn more about it as we talk about it. But this is not an industry where it is just a straight linear path to success financially. There's ups and there's downs. You experience it at year 1 and you experience it at year 10. I've experienced it at year 1. I've experienced it at year 3, year 5, year 8, year 10. It doesn't stop. And that's just par for the course. So you really have to love this. Just like, as you business owners know, you have to love what you do or it's just never going to work out. You can't go through the dark times and the struggles in business if you hate waking up and doing it anyway. You're basically going to be lying on your back because you don't want to do it. You're not motivated. You're probably going to be depressed. You have to wake up with the 100% energy, amped to the gills to know, I want to do this. I love this. I'm amped to show up today, even though I might get slapped in the face today. You know, that's what happens in business, as you guys know. So we'll learn more about how to build your podcast, because I know not only from an interview standpoint of wanting to interview great dream guests, you guys want to make money doing this. So we're going to teach you more and more about how to do this in future modules, in future talks. But I just wanted to give you guys a glimpse as to who I am, Jack O'Hara, 10-year veteran in podcasting, and what I'm all about.